So with that, I'm going to take a minute, and Joy Briscoe is going to come up and give us a little bit of an overview of some of the fantastic work that she's doing within the diversity and inclusion area. Just as by a reminder, there are 4 focus areas that we are focused on, which is strengthening our community, looking at our recruiting practices and everything that we do from the first time that the candidate is introduced to the district all the way through their onboarding program. And then we're looking at the Grow Your Own programs, the pathways for our students to get into education, and then enabling and empowering our work staff. And Joy's going to come and talk to you a little bit more in depth about some of the wonderful work that she's been doing and some of the connections that she's been making in, 30 days maybe you've been in your role? 45 days, and let me tell you, she I think knows pretty much everybody in the community already, so she's made a great first impression. So I'm going to turn it over to her and let her talk a little bit. You're welcome.
Good evening, everyone. I'm very, very excited to be here. Hired on as a new diversity program recruiter with the HR department. I'm just ecstatic about the opportunity just to actually create the best learning environment possible for our students in one of the best districts in the state, or the best district in the state. And so I just could not be more astounded about being a part of the program. And so one of the first things that Linda and I did when we started meeting was we decided we would come up with a vision for the diversity and recruitment and retention program. And so, am I going to go the right way? Let's see. There you go. So right there is some of the vision that we came up for. Diversity is important because we want to provide the best experience possible for our students in their learning environment. And so as we go forward, we want to spread that message that that's why we're doing this. That's truly why this is so important. It's important because as our children graduate, as they learn in our communities and in our school buildings, we want them to be as prepared for their future as possible. Or we want every learner? All right. Thank you, Dr. Webb. And so once we had that vision, of course you have to have a vision because that's kind of the roadmap for where you want to go, right? We came up with our goal process. And our goal was that we want to develop and strengthen positive relations with our community. We want to engage and retain a talented workforce and create a workplace where each employee is enabled and empowered to contribute their individual talents to deliver on our vision of every learner future ready. I'm very gimmicky, so I absolutely love the every learner future ready. And of course, if we want to actually start working towards where we're going, we got to take a look at where we're at, right? And so, because we know that studies show that diversifying the teacher workforce is the best experience possible for all of our students, where are we at currently? So currently, 6% of our workforce is ethnically or racially diverse, whereas 3% of teachers to 35% of the student body. So, of course, we've got to minimize that number. We've got to decrease that number. We have to do that because that's important for us to truly reach our goal. And so we started with recruiting efforts. Very, very important, right? And so definitely there's a phrase where you say, reach the low-hanging fruit first. I thought that that was truly, truly important. There were some things that we identified right out the gate that would help us reach our efforts. We didn't have an Indeed careers page, so Linda and I worked to create that because right now, whenever anybody's looking for an opportunity, one of the first places they go is Indeed, and that's becoming more and more apparent for the business of education as well. So we created that Indeed careers page, and we put not just teacher opportunities on there, but other opportunities for the district. And lo and behold, we had over 120 candidates actually submit resumes to us via Indeed. So that was immediately a talent pool that we just had to tap into. There was a new Teachers to Teacher application that came online that's free for districts right now. And so we decided that we wanted to maximize that as well. And through that new Teacher to Teachers application, we've already contacted 42 prospective individuals for our district. I mean, there's a great quality of candidates on there that's local and also out of the state as well. So that's been phenomenal as well. In addition to the Teachers to Teachers site, I also we created the career page, and then we posted 5 district opportunities to 3 additional sourcing sites, just making sure the way of the go is technology. Everybody, when they look for opportunities, they go directly to their phone and they go online. So that's where our presence needs to be if we really want to reach people. And this is another interesting one. As Linda mentioned, we've been taking looks at how we're doing our current hiring practices. So in our AppleTrack system, today, if someone hired a candidate, there might be a second or third candidate that was a good candidate that we didn't necessarily stay engaged with. And so we've been working on building that pipeline of maybe you weren't the right fit necessarily for this position, but that doesn't mean that we don't want you in the district in another position. And so from that, we found 20 more additional potential candidates for our district as well. And a good percentage of those were diverse candidates as well. In addition to that, we've connected with ZipRecruiter, and this has already resulted in 5 qualified candidates for our district. So doing this work, grabbing that low-hanging fruit, we've had a couple interviews last week and interviews coming down the pipe. And I promised, because Linda knows I can talk, so I said I was practice at home so I can get through this, but and so our next steps is we definitely want to maximize social media. We've got over 6,000 people on our Facebook page. So we're playing with the idea of actually creating a Facebook page that specifically relates to opportunities with our school district and states our vision statement and where we're trying to go and what we're trying to do. Again, enhanced our recruiting process. We're trying to attend up to 7 career fairs. I've already attended 2 career fairs in Des Moines already, and we have at least 3 more scheduled, and that's going to be not only in Iowa, but externally as well. We realize if we're going to diversify that pipeline, we've got to go outside of our just the Iowa borders and try to build those connections as well. So we're reaching out to schools, building those pipelines and those relationships prior to us arriving, and so that once we get there, we can have some candidates to interview. And then we're going to increase advertising efforts in marketing areas where they cater to diverse audience, like corporate careers and things of that nature. And we're going to continue to identify and utilize the best sourcing opportunities for the district. This one was one of my funnest ones. I'm a talker, so community outreach is part of our plan as well. And so I've conducted over 20 meetings with people in the district and outside the district to get their input on how they think we're doing and what they think we need to do and what are some of the barriers into us retaining diverse talent. And so what I found is they feel like for minority and marginalized populations, we need to work on creating a sense of place and possibly leadership tracks. And so we're working on things with that as well. And then this was also a fun one. We worked on strengthening existing relationships and programming. In a district like ours that is doing fantastic work, we were already doing some great things. We met with Dr. Buck and talked about some of the Grow Your Own programming that we are already doing. There's a Panther Promise where they're coming up and taking students from Jefferson and Wash and bringing them to the University of Northern Iowa. And then they also have a UMET program, which that's their College of Education, where kids go for free and they can stay for free to minimal cost. I don't want someone to say it costs us a little bit, Joy, but it's very, very low, where kids actually go stay a week at the College of Education and get exposed to teaching curriculum. And these are things that we are already doing. We have been doing the last year, and they'll be happening again this year. So building on those things, our next steps is going to be to maximize those type things, explore new networking opportunities. We're going to partner with ICR to develop a spouse employment program. One time there was an example of a principal that would have been ideal for the district, and she had a husband who worked in a company or kind of manufacturing type work. And they didn't come because he didn't know that there was jobs here for him. Now, where else could he go and have more opportunity? And so we don't want that to happen again. And so making sure we work with organizations that we say, hey, we got a great teacher, you know, and he or she has a spouse that could actually work at Rockwell or something like that. We want to build those connections. And it was really great because in turn they said, well, Joy, what if we bring somebody into Rockwell and they have a teacher spouse? Would you guys take them? If they're a good fit, we would definitely want to see them and talk to them and build those relationships. So they're really excited about those partnerships. And then we also want to continue to join key organizations as well. And of course, Grow Your Own. Again, I was excited that we are already doing Grow Your Own. We already have some dual credit programs going on with a lot of our colleges, and so we want to continue on that. We want to build on that. We're going to work with Paul Hayes to identify more students that have the potential to make great teachers in our districts. And we've been researching national and regional high school programming so that we can literally have one of the best Grow Your Own programs in the country. That's our goal. And then we're going to work on developing workplace learning connections as well. So we've been working on these things to date. I met with the Community Foundation. They've talked about even doing a teaching scholarship for students graduating. So we've got some wonderful, wonderful things coming down the pipeline. And then also another program with ICR We want to make sure that when people come, we know they're going to be supported within the school district, but you need to know your community as well. So ICR is going to work with us so that we can make community programming so that people can know about all the great things we have going on in Cedar Rapids. So. And then if you just want to stay connected with us, of course, here's some of our social media information. And I know I covered a lot of information very quickly. Did anyone have any questions?
I'll just say you've been really busy.
Yes.
And I think that's important, getting connected. And you made a lot of progress. I mean, you have been very busy for the 45 days that you've been here. And I can appreciate you connecting with the community and the surrounding schools too. And what you are doing. And you have been doing quite a bit.
Thank you, President Humbles. Appreciate it. Thank you.
I have a question. Has any thought been given to employee resource groups? I know Collins Aerospace is employee resource groups and Tata does as well. Has there been any thought given to that within district?
Yes.
So that's a great question, Jennifer. Yes, from a vision perspective, I think down the road, that is definitely something that we want to consider, at least explore, try to understand how that may or may not fit within our district. As you can see from what Joy just presented, we have a whole lot on our plate right now. And so I would look at that from a phase 2, phase 3 kind of approach. But definitely if you think about the whole roadmap, holistic approach, it's certainly something we want to explore at some point.
Thank you.
I just want to say thank you to both of you. We've worked on some of these ideas for a long time, and this is as concrete of progress as I've seen. So thanks to all of you and welcome on board.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. Linda and Dr. Bug, Dr. Network President Humbles, I mean, everyone's been so great about providing input and giving realistic feedback as to what we need to do. And I really, really appreciate that. So, and we'll keep you up to date, definitely.
Thank you.